Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. I said I was going to be doing a little bit of small engine stuff, and I have a lawnmower guy gave me at work that's got, as he explained to me, symptoms of a stuck float or a needle that's not sealing in the carburetor. The tall tale signs of this, you're going to have fuel in the oil. So when you pull the dipstick out, it'll either be above the correct level and should smell like gasoline. You'll be able to smell it and feel it. It'll be very thin. Another symptom of this: flooding, hard to start, smoking. If your fuel tank's always empty after you let it sit, it's another symptom. It's a Kohler, it's a Toro. It's got the 6.75 Chinesium Kohler, as I like to call them. These have, I believe, I haven't looked them up, but usually these carbs are like $13 to $20. Usually just replace them, but since I don't know much about this mower and I know it does have a replacement carb on it, I'm going to just take the carb off and do a quick clean out video, and we'll see if the needle's sealing. I don't have the best way to test it on in my air compressor here yet. I'm still setting up the new shop, but what I'll do is I'll show you how to blow into it and see if it's sealing. So let me go ahead and get the carb off. I just took the air cleaner off. Pretty simple, just one right there. Let me get these nuts off. They should be 10 millimeter, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. There's this one, and this one. And I think we're gonna have to pull the studs out of it. All right, we got the air cleaner box off. As you can see, there's T20s that hold these nuts on right here. It's for your choke setup. You want to take those off, and as you slide the carburetor off, you'll see the choke lever come out. Also, here's the throttle. Open it wide open, and you'll be able to slip the linkage out, just like that. Pull that linkage out. I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. I'll have to get this fuel line off here. It's a clip, push it back. And there's also a line right here. Take those off, and I'll show you once we get this carburetor off how I'm going to clean it out and check to make sure that the float and the needle sealing. Alright, I already see one issue, and this was done in a professional shop. Not sure which one it was, don't want to put anybody on blast, but here we go. Double gasket. That shouldn't be like that. So that's the first problem I already see. So we're going to go ahead and get that taken off, get that corrected, and we'll go from there. Alright, I got the carburetor off. It's a 10 millimeter. Take the float bowl off down here. Also, when you clean these Chinesium carburetors out, I'll show you. Sorry guys, we got one person to work the camera here, and that's me. Right here is the idle adjustment screw. Pull that out. This is a jet, low idle circuit underneath here. Make sure that that is cleaned out. This thing will run like crap. So pull all that apart. I'll show you what it looks like when I get it apart. I'm going to get the float out of here, get the bowl off. This carburetor is pretty dirty, as you can see in the intake. I got an ultrasonic cleaner, I'll show you that, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I got the float bowl off. Here's the float. This is what I do to check it. Some people will probably say it's gross. I hold the float down, I blow into where the fuel lets into the carburetor. If air is passing through, which it is, the float or the needle, one of the two, is leaking. And it's passing air through. So I'm gonna have to see if there's crud in the needle or if the seat is bad on this. Also, there's a jet down here. It's brass. Be very careful if you take it out. That needs to be cleaned too. If you got one of these that's varnished up. This one, it's not varnished up. It's pretty clean. This is the little, right here, the low idle circuit I was talking about. You're going to want to gently pry that out when you get that idle screw out, and make sure you clean that. I use an ultrasonic cleaner, which is right here. It's heated. I'll soak this carburetor in there. I got purple power in there. I'll soak that in there. So let me get the needle out of this. You just slide the pin out, and let me see if it's corroded up or it got dirt. And there's a piece of dirt right inside of there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it looks like a piece of grass actually. I'll go ahead and blow that out of there. Clean the needle off. The needle does have a little bit of crud on it. And put this back in. Put the pin back in it. And try to test again. No air. We got it cleaned out. We got it fixed. We'll go ahead and ultrasonic clean this. And we'll put it back together and see if she runs. Alright, I want to show you guys the jets. I got them out. Here they are. That's the jet in the center of the carburetor there, the main jet. And this is the idle circuit jet. As you can see, I can't tell how good my camera's showing it. There's debris, there's dirt, there's shit on this. There's a very, very tiny hole in the end of these. I use micro drill bits. You're not supposed to. You can oversize the hole. You got to be really gentle with them. I don't recommend doing it if you're not comfortable with what you're doing, or you can snap them off in there. Like I said, most people replace these carburetors. I'm just going to clean this one up. Let me get this in the ultrasonic cleaner. As you can see, I got that going. I always run the heat. I got the flow in there, cleaning the end of that needle, that rubber tip needle. Let me get this done, and I'll show you when I get it back together, and we'll see if she runs. Alright, this is the little basket out of my ultrasonic cleaner. It's got this awesome little thing. What I do is, let me set the camera down, is I take the jets, you open this up, this little basket, and I take all my little jets and I put them in that basket. Now, what I'll do is I'm just going to show you guys real quick. I usually spray this down with carb clean or starting fluid. I don't have any right now, so I'll take my air hose. I lied, I do have a little compressor here. I'll blow where the main jet goes. I'll blow into where the needle valve goes. And I'll blow into where the low idle circuit goes. And I'll also make sure these jets are clean. All the little tiny holes and down the center. You can use torch tip cleaners to do that. Sorry, I'm trying to talk over the air compressor. You can use torch tip cleaners to do that. You just got to be careful you don't oversize the hole, because obviously they are a little file. I'm going to go ahead and put this carburetor back on right now. I'm not going to show you how it goes, because obviously if you took it apart, you can put it back together same way. I'm going to change the oil in this mower. I'll show you how I do that real quick. I did work for 5 years in a shop, and I grew up around small engines my whole life. I used to work in a garage. My great-grandfather, learned a lot of stuff from him. He was an old school small engine tech, really smart guy. So let me get this back together, and then we'll see if she runs and go from there. One other little quick thing as I put this back together: exercise common sense. Don't over torque the brass jet in the middle of the carburetor. You don't need to go crazy with it. It's brass, it's soft. You wind up stripping it out, or you'll never get it off, or never get it out again, I should say. Also, this the float bowl seal, the O-ring here, right here. Make sure that's seated real nice. Otherwise your float bowl is going to leak and you won't be happy. Also, one pet peeve of mine in the shop, and I see other techs do it: clean the air intake cover. Get all that crap out of there. It'll wind up falling in the air intake, and you'll be back to cleaning the carb again, all in the jets. And go ahead and clean this one up before I slap it back on. One last thing before we fire this up: always make sure your intake gaskets are on the right way. Always. You always want to make sure that gasket is on the right way. Otherwise, it's not going to run. One other thing I want to mention as I was cleaning the bottom of this deck out to sharpen the blade: if you have problems with these things throwing belts, eating up belts, drive not working good, there's 2 3/8 bolts right by the front transmission that hold this plastic cover on the bottom. I'd show you, I have nobody to hold it. Look at how much crap gets caked around that belt. Clean all this out. And there's all kinds of stuff that gets jammed here. You can see it's all jammed around the pulley. That'll stop the drive. Throw the belt. It'll just make it a pain in the ass. It's kind of almost got this belt tore up to where I don't even know if this drive works, but we'll see. Alright, now it's time that we're going to fire this thing up. All right, it's time to fire this thing up. So let's get this GoPro set up. Let's see what happens. Now, usually at the shop, we'd let them run for a good 15 or 20 minutes. Obviously, this is something that's for me, so I'll go ahead and try it out on the grass when it needs cut. I wanted to mention, I got a chipper here I'll be working on. Don't know anything about it. Heard it caught fire. Needs fuel line, probably carb gone through. Maybe the valves, who knows, it's been sitting a long time. So that's gonna be on the next video. And I got something special I hope I'm gonna be able to put on YouTube. I bought a little 16-foot boat with a 25 horse Johnson at Copart auction, and I just picked it up. We're gonna be getting that running. We're gonna clean the boat all up. It's gonna be my little walleye boat on the Detroit River. And I also have another boat that we're gonna be getting ready. It's a nice boat, doesn't need no work, hopefully. But once again, guys, thanks for watching. That's just a little small engine video. It's not gonna be all snowmobiles on the channel. It's gonna be a lot of different mechanical stuff. So like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.